What's up, guys? Jeremy Davis. I'm the head coach at Real D2D, and it's been over about a year since I've been running this program with Dwayne Richens. Our entire program has exploded. We have the role play group that has grown. We have our coaching group, our EXP team, and obviously the social media presence. And I'm so thankful to be here for year number 2. This is going to be a great year. Excited to serve all of you, put this content out so that you can go convert a bunch of leads to deals, make a lot of money, and then if we're a right fit at the right time, come and join our community. Before we jump into today's topic, if you watched a lot of my previous videos, you know I'm going to talk about this, but realtors are salespeople. Salespeople, their greatest asset is themselves. It's their education. It's how well, like Stephen Covey says in 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, can they sharpen their saw? Because at the end of the day, people want to transact with leaders, people they trust, that are good at what they do, that are sharper than attack, and that are passionate about serving them. Those are skills that you can go develop. And so if you've been following along in our coaching program, we prioritize education. And look at how crazy this is. These are all the books that we've read in 2024. We've got a couple more. The reason we do this is because your only competitive advantage as a salesperson or as a realtor is your education. How fast can you go acquire knowledge, understand it, and then apply it? So if you want to know what that book is, reach out. I'll let you know so you can follow along with our book club. If you watch this video after September and you want to be a part of our book club, reach out. It's completely free. Just read along with us. We prioritize it by quarter, by topic, and then we go month to month. Okay, now let's dive into the topic. Grab your notes. The topic today is how do we get buyers to move? How do we get them to jump over the hill, stop being on the fence, and really make a decision to move forward with us? That's a skill set that post-NAR settlement, as realtors, you need to have. You need to have the skill set to be able to push people forward. When I first got into real estate, I realized in alarm sales that I had been doing for 10 plus years, wow, I could get someone from a -5 all the way to a 10 and they're installing the alarm. Real estate was a little different and I understood that quickly. So I had to figure out, okay, what skills do I need to push these guys over the hump? And these are the 3 things from all the people that I've coached worldwide this past year and what helped me sell 75 homes my first year. These are the things that you're gonna wanna write down. The first part, most of you, number 1, need to get better at tying down their motivation and their timeline. Most of you are asking yourselves, why is this buyer, why is this family not transacting? Why are they not moving? It's because their motivation is low and their timeline is low and they're not going to move it. So what's the skill set with that? Well, you need to learn to identify that. If you're prospecting door to door, we always teach everyone in our program, there's 6 questions that you're gonna ask. And I'll have my team put it right here. The first one is, any neighbors tell you coming by? The second one is, the real estate market's all over the place. Have you thought about buying, selling, or investing? The third one, is this your forever home? The fourth one, if you were to move, when would that be? Closer to 6 months or 20, 25 years? And then at that point, what's different then versus now? And then the hook. If I could show you how to do that, move up your timeline, make an additional 30,000, would you be opposed to that? The reason we ask those 6 questions every single time is we're trying to figure out their motivation and their timeline. So 90% of the people you're probably working with, you missed something there. You didn't get their timeline, you probably didn't get their motivation, and so you're over here asking yourselves, well, I sent my link, how come they're not sending me homes? How come they're not answering my text? It's because they were just saying yes to you at the door, and they just try to get you off their doorstep. And so they were kind to you, they said yes, and they don't care. So those 6 questions, really being able to watch someone, how they respond, how they react, that's the number 1 skill you need to have in order to get buyers to transact. Is don't do it with people that aren't ready, that don't have the timeline, and make sure you're doing it with people that actually are. That's the first hurdle that you need to overcome. Number 2 is going to be your ability to paint a picture about urgency. Okay, what I mean by this is, let's say they say, yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to that. How could you save me that money by transacting sooner? That next chunk of the conversation when you're prospecting, this is what I'm talking about. As a salesperson, one of your skill set needs to be storytelling. You need to be able to clearly paint a picture about what the market's doing now and what it's going to do down the road. You do that with imagery, with stories, with the questions you ask. One of the best books that I recommend to all the people that I coach is The Power of Storytelling by Ty Bennett. This is probably one of the best books on storytelling. Another really good one is called Made to Stick by Dan and Chip Heath. But when I first got into sales, when I left my teaching career, I realized pretty quick that, oh, wow. So I'm essentially teaching on their doorstep. So that's basically public speaking. So I should go learn public speaking skills, okay? So one of the skills you need to learn is how to present data, and that's called storytelling, painting a picture, okay? So the 3 areas that you need to master to really get people to move and transact are these 3 things. One is going to be rates. How good can you explain the pros and cons and what happens when rates go up and down? The second one is going to be explaining to the family in front of you the ability to negotiate in today's market versus later down the road when rates go down. Understanding the pros and cons of both of those scenarios. And the third one's going to be appreciation. You need to be able to understand how appreciation works, what the average appreciation rate is in your market, and then communicate that to the person in front of you. For example, let's say they're in a $300,000 townhome. They want to buy something at $500,000. So I could say, Mr. Prospect, are you aware just how appreciation works over time? And they're like, oh, I don't know. Let's say their timeline was a year. Well, let's just say in the next year, when you go to buy that $500,000 house, just with standard appreciation, without anything else changing, it's about 10% in our market. So that $500,000 house is now worth $550,000. Now, I don't know about you, Mr. Prospect, but I'm not getting a raise every year of $50,000. Are you? And they're like, no, I'm not. So do you see how just by simply the law of appreciation, by buying sooner, that house that you want is going to be more affordable? Does that make sense? And they're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. So your ability to present that, to paint the picture, that's going to be super crucial to helping them feel that urgency to transact sooner. And then when you send them the link to send you houses to look at, they're actually going to send them back because they passed the first test. They're motivated, their timeline, they're open to moving it forward. And then now you're painting the picture, it's making sense to them. And so now the pieces to the puzzle, as I always say in our program, are now starting to come together. Going back to negotiation, number 2, under this umbrella, your ability to explain that in today's market with rates being a little higher, how negotiation works. Well, Mr. Prospect, if you were a seller and your house was sitting for about 60 days and you had no offers, and then all of a sudden someone comes in and they say, hey, I love your house, I want to buy it, but I can't afford the $650 price point, but I'm approved for $630, and they submit an offer at $630. How likely are you to accept that offer? And they're like, oh yeah, no, we would take that. Okay, well, what about down the road when rates go down and all those buyers come in the marketplace and you go to make the same offer on that same house? Well, now it hasn't been sitting for 60 days. It's been sitting for 2 days. And now there's 15 offers on the table. What's the likelihood that you can negotiate a lower purchase price? And they're like, oh, I probably can't. Exactly. So that's why a lot of my past clients have decided to move up their timeline and buy sooner, decided to do it because they're understanding that they can negotiate more in this market. Does that make sense? And they're like, yeah, that really does. So again, I take a negotiation and I'm just simply describing one thing about the purchase price. Then we can talk about closing costs. We can talk about the repairs that we can negotiate. My ability to communicate that, to explain it now versus waiting later, helps them feel, oh wow, there's more urgency than I figured. I need to move up my timeline. So again, go get this book, go get Made to Stick, learn to communicate and present. That will help you move your buyers and get them to transact and start moving up their timeline. Now, number 3, this is the last thing. You've got to get really good at tying down that appointment. If you've been to my Instagram, Door-to-Door Real Estate, I have a couple reels on this, and they're probably my 2 reels that I send out most to people in regards to tying down appointments. Because if you've knocked doors for a long time at a high volume, we've got people in our program that are knocking 250 contacts a week, 300 contacts a week, 60 contacts a day. They're absolutely crushing it. And even them, what they're saying is, man, I'm setting all these appointments, but they're not showing, or they're ghosting me, or this or that, or whatever. So that's an issue you're gonna run into. So how do we fix it? If you can fix it, then you can get those buyers to move. You can get them to transact, to actually get back to you. So this skill is the last thing that you need to develop to tie them down. And this skill honestly comes from the door-to-door alarm industry, the solar industry. It comes from my experience with B2B business, phone sales. This is how I would close people at a high ratio, and then they would actually show up at a 90%, 95% show rate to the appointment, because you want them to show. The first thing you're gonna do is put them in a calendar. So have them put it on their fridge, send them a Google Calendar invite, because the likelihood that they show up, if it's on their calendar, is very high. Statistically, it's like 49% just by simply having them put it on their calendar. So what is that gonna look like? I'm gonna simply say, hey, Mr. Prospect, one of my worst qualities is that I get really busy. So just to respect your time, I'm gonna send you a Google Calendar invite. A lot of my past clients found that that was really effective and made it easy to communicate. So I'm gonna send you a quick invite, just throw it on your calendar. That way you know I'm coming tomorrow. And then I'm gonna look down. Even though it's a Google Calendar, I'm gonna ask this question, I'm gonna look down. Do you want me to send that to your Gmail, Yahoo, or are you that neighbor that has the AOL? I'll look, I'll smile just like that, and I go right back down because I don't want eye contact. And I wanna be able to option close them. I want a funny joke to get them to laugh, to bring down that buying pressure, and they'll always say, oh no, we got Gmail. Perfect, what's your Gmail? Okay, great. That's part one. Then I'm gonna say, cool, go grab your phone real quick. Let's make sure you get it. Sometimes I got spotty connection. Go grab that real quick. They grab it, cool, they say it's on there, they hit accept. I'm doing that with them in front of me, because if you don't, the likelihood they do it when you leave is next to 0. That's step one. Step two, to tie them down, I'm gonna say, cool. Now, pending the zombie apocalypse, ha ha ha, I'll always laugh and they'll always laugh back. It works every time. Pending the zombie apocalypse, because the market's crazy right now, especially with the election coming up. Do you see anything getting in your way that would prevent you from sending me homes and from us going to see them tonight or tomorrow? The reason I do that is I want to put them in a corner. I want them to say no. I want them to pull out the objections. That line of questioning, that word track is going to force them to have to really think, do I want to commit to this guy or girl, or do I not? And so they'll obviously come at you really quick with no, there's not really anything. Or they'll say, you know, I'm good, man. I just really don't want to do this. And then boom, now you have an objection, you can overcome it. And so I really want to push them in that corner. A lot of times they'll just say, yeah, no, I don't really see anything. That's the second part. The last part now is going to be, great. Now, let's say tomorrow comes and you weren't able to send me homes and we weren't able to go see any. What do you want to do at that point? The reason that word track, that question, that line of question works really well is because it gets them to think and foresee any issues that's going to come up, and if they really again want to work with you. So it puts them in this solution-oriented mindset, and then boom, you can tie them down. Now, you have the 3 things that we reviewed today. You need to learn how to make sure they're motivated and that they're willing to move their timeline. Then you need to get good at storytelling and painting a picture. The third thing is tying them down, getting really good at making that appointment actually show up. The last thing, let's say they haven't answered you for a couple days. What you want to do is shoot them a text like this. Hey, Mr. Prospect, as promised, I'm following up. It looks like you haven't been able to get back to me. Have you given up on the idea of owning a home or selling your house or buying an investment, whatever? Is that not the goal anymore? If so, totally okay. I just want to make sure I know how to best help you. That phrase right there, after a couple days of them not getting back to you, for some reason, the psychology behind those lines of questions, those lines of a word track, is going to help them really figure out if they want to move forward with you or not. 9 times out of 10, they're going to respond and say, no, we just been busy, apologies. Or they're going to say, yeah, no, we're sorry, man. We talked about it, we just don't want to do it. So again, I'm okay with that. I want to get those no's. I'm okay to put them in a corner. I'm abundant mindset oriented. I do not want to work with people that aren't ready, because what happens as a salesperson, as a realtor, if you do too many of those, then you're going to think, oh, I've got all these good leads and oh my goodness, like I can close all these people and there's so many good deals, and then you don't prospect. But if I know that that's not the case and I really only have like one person, then I'm going to go prospect like crazy because I know I don't have that many deals coming. So that's that fine line that you have to balance. So when it comes to how do I help a buyer transact? How do I help a buyer move forward, especially post the NAR settlement? It's these 4 things that you have to master, because again, real estate is a sales oriented game. And those that say it's not don't understand sales. They do not understand negotiation, persuasion. They don't understand customer service. They haven't been in the game that long or done it at a high level. Real estate is a game of developing the skill set, of going and acquiring the knowledge, paying for the coaches, role playing, script practicing, and getting really good and sharp as attack so that you can then show up, listen, ask the right questions, have the right stories, use the right word tracks to get someone to go from here to here to here to here because they want to. So hopefully that was super helpful, because I get this question all the time. I only want to do videos that are tailor-made to you that are watching this, that have reached out and said, hey, I need a video on this. My brokerage isn't offering it. My team isn't offering it. Well, here you go, completely free. Now, if you want to script practice this and role play it, you can go join our role play group. We have a role play group that's worldwide. We have a ton of top producing realtors and beginners and intermediate realtors that are in there that role play twice a day, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, 12:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. We role play door pitch Monday, Wednesday, objections Tuesday, Thursday, and then we hit the listing presentation on Friday. You should be practicing like crazy. If your brokerage, team, wherever you're at doesn't offer that, it's literally just $200 a month. It's the cheapest investment, but it'll have the biggest ROI. We had someone that joined, didn't have a great skill set, wasn't a great communicator. After 3 months of being in there, he now has about 10 deals under contract and he's sharp as a tack. And so if you want that progression, if you want to learn these skills and develop them, then jump into that role play group. If you have any questions, reach out. We'll have you fill out a questionnaire, see if it's a right fit for you. And I'm more than happy to get on the phone with you. Thanks again. Reach out if you have any questions, and we'll see you next time.